Good morning, students. Let's start with the test automation now. So up till now we have done different testing activities, or we call them as validation activities, and they were totally manual based. Now we will be seeing what is test automation. So there are two types of testing. One is in manual testing and second is in automation testing. Right? So what do you mean by automation testing? Software test automation makes use of specialized tools to control the execution of tests and compares the actual result against the expected result. So ultimately, whatever is the task relevant to the testing is, if we carry out that task of testing with the help of a tool, right, and carry out the entire testing and compare its results, it will be automated testing. But the question is, where to use automation? Do all the activities in the testing can be automated, or there are few parts that needs to be automated? So we'll see, whenever we have any repeated actions, like in case of regression testing, where we make a certain changes and we have to retest the entire thing. So you have to carry out those testing activities repeatedly. In that case, the automation will be beneficial. So the very first area where automation testing is generally used is your regression testing. Along with the regression testing, it is also helps us in test data setup generation, product installation, GUI interaction, as well as defect login. So we need to identify amongst several parameters or things that are present where to automate or where manual testing will work. So we have several tools, automation tools, which are applicable on different area. Like we have automation tools for functional testing, we have automation tools for non-functional testing also. We'll see in few slides later on, right? But the main you can say the point here is, automation testing cannot be viewed as a replacement for manual testing, right? If we know automation testing is good, the question would be, why not to use automation testing? Why we are carrying out manual testing also? Because there are few areas where manual testing cannot be automated. We have to do that task manually only. While there are few tasks which can be automated, so we can do it, right? So automation testing can never replace manual testing. They both will go on parallelly. Yes, you can say it is an enhancement to the manual testing process, right? Now, what is the benefit? Test automation is effective such that any kind of repetitive and tedious activities can be done by machines, and testers can utilize their time in more creative and critical work. You have so many work in software development as well as testing. So we can focus more on those areas while saving the time and cost by using automation testing. Now, what are the basic benefits of automation? The very first is reduction of testing effort. So whenever you are going to do any task with the help of a machine, that is a computer or a tool, ultimately the effort required will be less. Reduces the tester's involvement in executing the test. Say we require 10 testers when we were doing the task manually. Now since we are doing it using the tools, hardly 1 or 2 people are sufficient to do it. So testers involvement is also getting reduced. Number of testers are also getting reduced. Facilitates regression testing. Avoids human mistakes. Yes, when we are doing it with machines, the errors will be eliminated which are done by humans. Overall cost of the software will also reduce. Yes, because the salary that you are going to pay to 10 testers, now you are supposed to pay only to 2 testers only. You are saving the cost of 10 testers. Then simulated testing can also be done with the help of automation. You know that unit test environment needs to be simulated where we require drivers and stuff. So that can be simulated with the help of a tool. Then internal testing, there are a lot many types of testings we have seen where like codes are embedded, so you can perform the testing. Test enablers, it helps us to enable the test of different parameters, as well as it helps in test case design. So you can see there are several benefits of using automation. The most prior ones are your effort, time, cost, errors, and test case designing, which is of foremost importance. Now, how many types of testing tools do we have? Generally, we say there are two types, static and dynamic, but we are going to categorize them based on different parameters. The first parameter is based on the type of execution of test cases. According to that, it is of two types, static testing tools and dynamic testing tools. While it also depends upon the testing activities also, right? So tools based on the testing activity. Now what are the testing activities? The tools for review and inspection, tools for test planning, tools for test design and development, and tools for execution and evaluation. So ultimately this is STLC activities, software testing life cycle activities, and we have tools for each and every activity. And this is for the execution of test cases, static and dynamic testing tools. So what do you mean by a static testing tool? For static testing, so as the name suggests, static testing tool is used for static testing. So for static testing, there are static program analyzers. We analyze the program which scan the source program and detect possible faults and anomalies, right? So our basic aim in static testing is to identify the faults and the anomalies. These static tools parse the program text, recognize the various sentences, and detect the following. So these program analyzers are going to analyze the program for what? They used to check statements are well formed, inferences about the control flow of the program, and compute the set of all possible values of program data. So three things need to be analyzed: the statements, the control flow, and as well as the values or the program values. So for this, we have different static tools, right? So the tools are four. The first one is a control flow analysis tool, data use analysis tool, interface analysis tool, and path analysis tool. So you can see all are analysis tools only. So as the name suggests, control flow analysis tools is going to detect the loops with multiple exit and entry points and unreachable code. That means we are going to check the control. Data use analysis detects all type of data faults. Interface analysis detects all interface faults, while path analysis, it detects all possible paths to the program and unravels the program control. So if there is any error in those type of these four things, control, data, interface and path, that can be easily identified using these static tools. Now dynamic tools, right? These tools support the following. Right? Two basic activities are being supported by these dynamic testing tools. The first one is dynamic testing activities. Obviously, it is going to support all the activities which are carried out during dynamic testing. Along with that, right, it also checks when several operations are being performed concurrently, so it becomes very difficult to identify the state or the conditions or the test cases required for each one of them because they are running concurrently. So what the automated tool does is it captures the state of events during the execution of the program by preserving a snapshot of the condition. And these tools are called program monitors. Ultimately, they are going to monitor the program. They capture the state of the events while the program is running. Dynamic, obviously, while execution, you need to check all these things, right? So when it is running concurrently, then we are supposed to do this with the help of a program monitor. So program monitor finally does what? It lists the number of times a component is called or a line of code is executed. So at the runtime, we check how many times a particular code is getting executed, the frequency. Report on whether a decision point has branched in all directions, therefore providing the information about the branch coverage. So we know what is a branch coverage, where we have to check each and every branch condition. So a report is being prepared here where a decision has branched in all directions simply. And finally, the report summary statistics needs to be prepared during this dynamic testing by the program monitors, which provides a high level view of the percentage of statements, paths and branches that have been covered by the collective set of test case run. This information is important when test objectives are stated in terms of coverage. So ultimately you have to provide the entire statistics of the testing, which includes statement, path and branches, right? So this is what a dynamic analysis testing tools do. So quickly revising: static tools. Static analyzers are used. Four tools are there: control flow analysis tool, data use analysis tool, interface analysis and path analysis. Then we have dynamic tools, and we have program monitors to monitor the execution of the program, and we identify the list the number of times a component is called or line of code is executed, report on branches and prepare the summary report. Detailed summary report, that is statistics, needs to be prepared. Now another category which were based on the testing activities. So we have tools based on testing activities of STLC. So the first category is tool for review and inspection. So for review and inspection, we have complexity analysis tools. So what does complexity analysis tools means? It is important for tester that complexity is analyzed so that testing time and resources can be estimated. Right? So ultimately, this is used to estimate the time and resources required. So if it is complex, more time and resources will be required. If it is less complex, less time and resources will be required. So the first tool is complexity analysis tool. The second one is code comprehension, right? That is detailed code. These tool helps in understanding dependencies, tracing program logic, viewing graphical representation of the program, and identifying the dead code. So all these tasks are relevant to code comprehension. You have to go for detailed study of the code for each and every thing. So these are relevant to your review and inspection. Now for test planning, we have three tools. The first one is a tool which provides the template for test plan documentation. Another tool which helps in test schedule and staffing estimates. And the third one which is a complexity analyzer again. Right? So from the name only it is clear what does these tools do actually. Then we have test design and development. During test design and development, we have tools for two different activities. The first one is test data generator, right? And the second one is test case generator. So the name is clear, test data. The data which is used, the input data which is used to carry out the testing. While test case generator are the test cases that we need to design in order to perform the testing, right? So we have tools for test data generation also, and we have for test case designing also. Then the last one is tools for test execution and evaluation. We have three tools available. The first one is a capture or playback tool. As the name suggests, capturing means recording. So these tools record events like keystrokes, mouse activity and display output at the time of running the system and place the information into a script. The tool can then replay the script to test the system. So we keep on recording whatever is the input, keystrokes or the mouse given by the user, and then we can replay the script. It is converted into a script and then we go for testing. Then is coverage analysis tool. These tools automate the process of thoroughly testing. Coverage, it must cover entire thing. So it is going to automate the process of thorough testing the software and provide a quantitative measure of the coverage of the system being tested. And lastly, memory testing tools. These tools verify that an application is properly using its memory resources. So these are the tools based on testing activities. So first was for review and inspection. We have two tools, complexity analysis tool and code comprehension. For planning, we have template for test plan documentation, for schedule and staffing, and complexity analyzer. For test design and development, we have another two tools, test data generator and test case generator. And finally, for execution and evaluation, we have three tools, that is capture or a playback tool, coverage analysis tool, and a memory testing tools. So this was like, okay, fine. We have left with another three that belongs to again this test execution and evaluation, the test management tools. So test management tool, as the name suggests, which helps in managing the all testing activities, which is present in the entire testing life cycle, say for planning, analysis and designing. Network testing tools, these are helps, or these are various applications running in the client server environment. Network means in the networks, whatever systems you have, like normally the communication takes place in a client server mode, so we need to go for testing of these. So these tools monitor, measure, test and diagnose performance across the entire network. Then performance testing tools. Performance testing tools helps in measuring the response time and load capabilities of a system, specifically for a real-time system. So these are another three which belongs to test execution and evaluation. That is test management tool, network testing tool and performance testing tool. So this was all about your tools. In the next lecture, we will be discussing more topics based on these tools. Thank you for today.